This is the biggest giveaway we've ever had. How about that Makira 16 paired with a beautiful UC rail rod custom wrap by Z Custom Rods? We're going to pair those two items. That's worth over $1,500 for the first prize. We also have a rain shadow rail rod, which is absolutely beautiful. Tuna Riot poppers and so much more. Contact Joe Zimmer at 310-918-1448. You can Venmo, you can Zelle, you can win. It's going to be a beautiful night, October the 13th, on Tackle Shop Confessions, when we're going to give all of that away. Make sure you get on board.
Please don't forget to support the Friedman Adventurers family members who make this all possible, like the Taxman, Tim Marquez, and your garage door man, Joe Welker, who does a great job and gets rave reviews here at Friedman Adventures. Heating and or air conditioning needs, it's our dear friend John Lopez, and also the Island Spirit, Ventura Sport Fishing. You can't beat it. Chris Isaac and the El Patron out of Long Beach Sport Fishing, www.longbeachsportfishing.org.
And if you have a leaky roof, then go visit my dear friend Brett at PelicanRoofSocal.com. They'll get out, get you fixed up so you can get out and catch some more fish on your next adventure. PelicanRoofSocal.com.
Get out of bed and wake up the kids, 'cause you know what time it is. It's time for the morning briefing. Fishing reports up and down the coast with Phil Friedman, your coffee-loving host. So much fishing intel, it feels like cheating when you tune into the morning briefing. Inshore, offshore, from the surf, bluefin, yellowtail, pod, surf, perch. They'll tell you where the fish are and what they're eating when you tune into the morning briefing. So give it a like and subscribe. Hit that bell to be notified of all the fishing content coming your way. Friedman Adventures is here to make your fishing day. It's a morning briefing, morning briefing.
My dear friends, and welcome to beautiful Surfside, California this Saturday morning. It is so great to be with you all. I can't thank you all for your love and support after the accident that the dog and I were in the other day. We were lucky to have survived it. I went by the cathedral in Orange, California, the Christ Cathedral yesterday with my wife Ruth. Walked in and I was relieved that I wasn't immediately hit by a lightning bolt. But we did go by there. I wanted to give thanks for being able to hang out with you for a few more years, at least I hope so. Well, we have got a lot to talk about. That pelican is going by. Man, that reminds me of Pelican Roofs, SoCal.com, our new sponsor. And there was some great long-range fishing for all the boys yesterday. Those guys that are running 7, 8, 9-day trips out of San Diego, been having great fishing. We'll tell you all about that. Ensenada, Baja California has been fantastic. Our tuna zone, there's a new zone of tuna here for LA Orange County fishermen. Couldn't be any better because we got an Amigo trip leaving tomorrow with a tri-tip dinner at 6 p.m. before we depart. I think there's one spot available, maybe two on that trip. We can't wait for that one. The El Dorado got in on some of that bluefin, but the weather's come up out there and it is now starting to already come down. Very windy conditions for the most part out there in that neck of the woods. and now it is coming down. When we depart on our Amigo trip, it's going to be 5 knots of breeze, and it's going to stay that way for Monday's fishing pretty much. Tuesday it comes up barely, maybe 10 knots, and we should be at an island catching yellowtail on that trip. We're going to talk about a lot more than just that. You know what time it is. It is time for the morning briefing. Good morning, my friends. Oh my God, is it good to be alive? No, and I'm not kidding about that one, as you well know. And also, it is great to be getting ready to go on another great trip. Our final 2-day trip of the year on board the Amigo. Can't wait to see you all tomorrow, and I appreciate all that you do. If you don't mind, hit that like button. Share these videos absolutely everywhere. Let's give the Tootsie report. Whoa, that water feels warmer now here this morning. I like that. And it's a beautiful day here in SoCal as you look out there. Remember to tick that rotten, filthy, disgusting little bell. It's deplorable, but it will tell you when there is new content available. And you can also follow us over there on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Man, I like this water. It is feeling really, really warm. I don't see any kelp in it. This would be a nice morning to be surf fishing. I'll tell you that. Oops. And immediately as I say that, there you go. What do I know, right? All right, let's get into it with you all. Good to be with you. Let's talk about long-range fishing to start things out because it's really fantastic right now. Yesterday, the Independents had a second day in a row of tremendous yellowfin tuna fishing. The Independents out of Point Loma Sport Fishing does such a great job. We have an 8-day trip with them in November. And then next year in April, a 5-day trip, independentsportfishing.com. Go there, check out our April 5-day, and if you could jump on, it would be great to see you on that one. Man, last year's 5-day was awesome on Bluefin Tuna. Who knows what this year will bring on this sunny, warm, gorgeous Saturday morning when the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame are going to prevail over Boise State. At least I hope so. Also, the XL, man, you know, the fall bite down there when you're fishing that long range, and even here in northern Baja and Southern California, it's the variety. It's the Dorado, the yellowfin, the yellowtail, and they had all that and more on board the XL. Really great fishing for the guys on the XL. The Royal Polaris, after having tremendous yellowfin tuna fishing, decided to change things up, and they went in on the beach, and they just had fantastic yellowtail fishing. Long range fishing, absolutely fantastic. Another Lobster Chronicle live show when we talk about lobster hoop netting with the Brian Sanchez from Pro Mar Nets. We're going to be doing that Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, live at 5:30. Man, last week's show went on for almost 3 hours. We had so many questions, so many people participating. What a great show, and thank you all for participating in that. Let's go down to Ensenada and tell you that down there is still yellowfin and bluefin tuna offshore. It was a little bit breezy, but as I say, that weather is now coming down. It's going to be gorgeous on Sunday. It's going to be even more beautiful on Monday. We've got some nice weather now, finally, as that wind is going to lay down. Good fishing and close to home for the Ensenada guys. Yellowfin, you know, most of it's in the 8 to 20-pound class, but you get some bigger than that. The bluefin, 10 to 30-pound class, but you get some bigger than that. I mean, there's some really good fishing. And if you want to stay inshore, there's some yellowtail down around Santo Tomas, around Todos Santos Islands, off the Hotel Corral, trolling around with Rapala style lures has been good. There's occasional barracuda flurries still going on this late in the year, and calico and sand bass if you want to do that. And if you want to fish rockfish, that is not a problem at all. Really nice fishing for our friends in Ensenada. Carlos Cortez, who operates at a Popotla, 15-minute drive south of Rosarita Beach, has also been catching copious amounts of tuna, and the weather coming down for the boys down there. So that is really great news. All right, let's talk about what's going on offshore tuna. As I said, that weather really came up and made things a little bit too nasty, but the El Dorado out of Long Beach sport fishing before it really got too bad. Ended up with a pretty darn good trip. And I was talking to Mitch over on the Blackfish. My son Philip is on board there right now fishing San Clemente Island. He said, yeah, a new area of bluefin popped up. Maybe that's what the Eldo was on, because they ended up with a pretty good hit, catching 66 on the bluefin tuna, 39 on the yellowtail. So a good hit there. Fishing out there around Cortez, Tanner Bank, and surrounding areas has been a little bit hit and miss, but there has been some really good scores on that bigger grade fish mixed in with it. In fact, Sam De La Torre from Island Fishing Tackle and Tackle Shop Confessions fame was just on a 3-day trip on the new Loan, and he said it was the best daytime fishing for the fleet in 2025. Big fish biting in the daytime. That is great news. Now, for sure, if you're on our Amigo trip or any other trip, you want to have that 25-pound fluorocarbon if you get on that 10 to 30-pound bluefin tuna. Of course, on the Apollo, just the other day, I mean, it wasn't that long ago, we were on there and had fabulous fishing. In fact, we're dropping a couple of videos here today at 9 a.m. on Facebook, at 3 p.m. on YouTube, and it'll show you that daytime bite with tons of great tackle tips. If you're on our Amigo trip, I highly recommend you take the time to watch that. If you're going bluefin tuna fishing anytime in the near future, or you just want to see some great action or learn how better to catch some bluefin tuna, watch those shows here today. But there's some darn good fishing out there. We're really hopeful that we're going to get on it. You fish that in the daytime, and then at nighttime, if you get lucky, you get on a bite like they had on the American Angler, James Marcial, and our friend over there, Lorenzo Marcial, his son, had great fishing on the American Angler on a nighttime bite here recently. Polaris Supreme with great fishing. But again, that weather came up and made things very, very difficult. Now we'll go back to that 180 gram kind of jig that you make sure you chuck upwind so that it's vertical, and it was getting bit full speed. And we had a good bite also on board the Apollo with 15 bigger fish. Really, really good fishing, but let me point out that it is hit and miss. Now, down south of San Diego, we've got that yellowfin tuna, we've got that dorado, we've got that bluefin tuna. That has been really finicky for the most part. Now, some guys on the overnight trips can reach it and get in on it. Same fish that the Ensenada Pongueros are fishing. But the full day boats, while they are seeing a lot of fish, have had a little bit of trouble catching them. And you know, that fish that is in there within range of San Diego for the full day guys that leave in the morning, come back that very same afternoon, it is so mixed. I mean, sometimes it's 10-pound fish, other times it's 70-pound fish, other times it's 200-plus pound fish. In fact, the Grande yesterday said they had an incredible show. They didn't want to bite, but a show on the 50 to 300-pound bluefin tuna coming out of the water and putting on an incredible show. They only ended up with one 70-pound bluefin, but man, if they were in the watching fish game, it couldn't have gotten any more spectacular than it was yesterday. It was really a phenomenal show. You got to think that maybe as this weather comes down right now, things are going to pop. We also are looking at a full moon right now, which has been putting our bluefin tuna bite down on a regular basis. But Chuck Zimmer from Z Custom Rods, Chuck's going to be on board the Searcher while we're on the Amigo. And Chuck said, I was out in the full moon last month on the El Dorado, and that bluefin bit really, really well. Sometimes when you get later on in the year, that bluefin will bite through the full moon, so we're hopeful that's indeed what is going to happen.
As you take a look at some B-roll from our latest Apollo trip, Jeff Lingle was down there on his yacht 160 miles down the Baja coast. And Jeff said, I didn't think the breeze and the full moon helped us one bit at all. But we ended up with limits of Dorado, 5 bluefin tuna, one of those fish weighing in at 130 pounds, 13 yellowfin and 16 yellowtail. Sounds like another great trip for our friend Jeff Lingle down the Baja coast. And now all of that wind and that kind of inclement weather, let's call it, is going to go away. Hang on, everybody.
Yesterday, as we transition now into the islands and talk Coronado Islands, the San Diego had a charter, and they didn't want to do the Bluefin Tuna thing. They wanted to go to the Coronado Islands. They ended up with 4 yellowtail. Whoa, where'd that come from? 4 yellowtail and tons of other bottom grabbers and other species to help fill the sack. So they did really well on that, no doubt about it. The Coronado Islands still showing with a few yellowtail, not a ton. There's a little bit there. You know, it was a tremendous bite we had there at one time here this year. But right now, if you're catching anywhere from 2 to 10 yellows at the islands, that seems to be about normal. Again, 25-pound fluorocarbon, good hot bait fly line is the best way. Every once in a while, you get a surface fish. Also, out there at San Clemente Island, my son Philip is there right now. They are picking at a few bass at San Clemente Island. Hopefully, we're going to see even more than that. He's going to try to catch some yellowtail there. And of course, Philip, you know, he's a chip off the old block. He loves to fish for rockfish, so hopefully they'll be able to do that. The Fury was there yesterday for 13 yellowtail. The Thunderbird has been there on a regular basis. Also, dropper loop fishing at 5 a.m. in the morning is a great way to catch those big yellows right now with a fresh dead or live squid to make things a reality for you. And then after that, you can pick off a few yellows from time to time. Sometimes even in the daytime, you'll catch some dropper loop fish in there. I'm hoping Philip and his friends have a great trip there today. At Catalina Island, there's a few yellows bouncing around there, some calico bass, some bonito. The El Patron yesterday, nice day. They had a bunch of rockfish, and they also, along with it, had 23 calico bass, 67 on the bonito, dropping that fluorocarbon down. Where's this coming from, man? Am I going to get doused by a big wave too? About 12-pound test for the calico bass is such a great way to get a bite. So keep that in mind. Really, really good fishing going on. The Pursuit had 7 yellows a day ago. Yesterday with 4 yellowtail. Our friend Nick Ramirez is on board there today. We're looking forward to seeing those yellows maybe bite here in the fall. They love to bite sometimes in the fall. www.longbeachsportfishing.org to get on the El Patron. They go every single day with special day or weekday prices down to $1.25. You ought to take advantage of that while you can. Channel Islands, great rock fishing up there, occasional sea bass and halibut, but mostly all rockfish right now with some good lingcod fishing up there. Avila Beach, Morro Bay, Santa Barbara, all rockfish up there, pretty much San Francisco weather window when you get it. Great lingcod and rockfish, especially if you can get out to the islands up there in San Francisco. You can do pretty good here along the Southern California coast. Talking about 1/2 and 3/4 day trips. Man, it's a beautiful day to be out doing that. We are looking mostly at sculpin and rockfish, a few bass here and there. The Native Sun had 3 halibut yesterday, so a nice hit for them on the halibut, but mostly, you know, whitefish, sheepshead, sculpin. Western Pride had limits of sculpin yesterday. There's a lot of that going on with a little bit of bass here and there. You can fish deep water cod, and down there out of San Diego, they've definitely been doing that. I would not count out a possibility of yellowtail around La Jolla for the new Seaforth and boats like that who are looking around there. We've had those flurries of big grade yellowtail. Wouldn't surprise me to see another one here real soon. A few bass up there in the Santa Monica Bay, but mostly rockfish. Same thing up into the Channel Islands for the local boats, catching mostly rockfish right now. All right, and in the Southern California surf, we got to meet Jeff Perea yesterday, who ended up catching a few nice perch and having a lot of fun here yesterday. Jeff is a great guy. That's here in Surfside. Before I get into any more down there at Big Fish Bait and Tackle in the beautiful city of Seal Beach, California, you can make your sport fishing dreams come true because they've got all the bait, tackle, everything you'll need for a successful day in the Southern California surf, as well as fishing offshore for bluefin, for yellowfin, white sea bass. They've got it all at Big Fish Bait and Tackle. Down there around Huntington Beach, picking off a few corvina, nothing wide open. However, a few smaller perch, some walleye perch, some barred perch, stuff like that have been biting down there in that area. Hopefully we're going to see more of that. Down here by the tower, we've been seeing a few corvina, a few yellowfin croaker, and an occasional halibut. Same thing here in Surfside. Jeff Perea worked this area, picked up some perch yesterday, nothing wide open. And then up in Long Beach, we see a few halibut there. And we've been seeing, good morning, you guys. Hi. How's it going?
Pretty good.
Any fish?
Not yet. We're trying to make it.
Yeah, where are you heading? Down to the jetty?
Yeah.
All right, good luck. Have a great morning. All right, some great anglers out here enjoying the Southern California surf this morning. Where was I? Up there going to the Santa Monica Bay, and up there a few corvina around Topaz, a few small leopard sharks, a few bigger leopard sharks down in an area where we call Rats Beach. And then up in El Segundo, we've been seeing some pretty good fishing going on for corvina. You know, El Puerto, between the Manhattan, Hermosa Beach piers, there's been a little bit of that going on also. All right, I'm going to head over to Tackle Meet here. They are right down the corner, so I'll be over there. If you're going to Tackle Meet today, I'll see you there in a little bit. And then, of course, we'll be watching the fishing as the weather comes in. Perfect timing for our Amigo trip. Thank you, Lord, for allowing me to spend a little more time on the earth, and also for providing us with such great weather. Man, that is absolutely perfect for our Amigo trip. 6 p.m. tomorrow, before our departure, we have a tri-tip steak dinner. If you'd like to come by and say hi, keep your grimy hands off that tri-tip. But if you'd like to come by and say hi, we got a great group of anglers. We'll be there from, I want to say, 4:30 until our departure at 9 p.m. Any of you are welcome to come by and say hello. So if I don't see you there tomorrow for our trip, hopefully you're on our trip. If not, drop by and say hello. I hope to see you somewhere else really, really soon. Take care, my friends.